Tonight, we explore stories that feel strangely impossible. Moments that linger quietly in memory, not because they were dramatic, but because they made reality feel slightly negotiable. The internet is filled with accounts of these experiences, stories where time behaved strangely, where objects appeared or disappeared without explanation, where coincidences felt unusually precise. And while skepticism is healthy, some stories remain oddly persistent in their emotional impact. The first story comes from someone who described a moment so small it would be easy to dismiss. They were driving home from work on a familiar road, a route taken hundreds of times before. The kind of drive where your mind drifts into background thoughts while muscle memory handles the journey. But on this particular day, something subtle happened. They passed a small shop. A shop that had always been closed, for years. Yet that evening, it was open. Lights on, people inside, music playing. Curious, they slowed down. But the next day, the shop was closed again. And not just closed, it looked abandoned. Dusty windows, a faded sign. No indication it had been operational for years. They asked locals. Nobody remembered it ever being open, which left them with a quiet question. Did they misremember? Or did reality briefly shift, in a way too small to be proven, yet too strange to forget? The second story is both simple and unsettling. A person described losing their house keys. Not unusual. Keys disappear with alarming consistency, often into dimensions specifically designed to test patience. They searched everywhere: couch cushions, jackets, the car, even the refrigerator, which felt unnecessary but thorough. The keys were gone. Weeks passed. A replacement was made. Life continued. Then one morning, the original keys appeared, not hidden, not tucked away, but sitting plainly on the kitchen counter, in a spot already searched dozens of times. No explanation, no memory of placing them there, no one else living in the home. Just a quiet reappearance, as if the keys had returned from an unannounced journey, which raises an uncomfortable possibility. Not that reality is broken, but that our perception of continuity may be less reliable than we assume. Another story describes a moment involving time itself. A person waiting for a bus checked their phone. It was 4:12 p.m. They waited, distracted by thoughts. Eventually, the bus arrived. They boarded, sat down, and checked their phone again. Still 4:12 p.m., which initially felt like a simple clock glitch. But moments later, it changed to 4:13, as if time had paused briefly before resuming its quiet forward motion. They laughed it off. But later that evening, they couldn't stop thinking about it. Not because it proved anything, but because it created a moment where certainty felt temporarily unavailable. There are also stories involving conversations that never happened, people recalling shared memories that others have no recollection of. Moments believed to be mutual, yet existing only in one person's narrative. One individual described remembering a long conversation with a friend about moving to another city. A detailed discussion, plans, concerns, excitement. Yet when mentioned weeks later, the friend was confused. The conversation had never occurred. Not forgotten, not misremembered, simply absent. Which introduces a fascinating psychological possibility, that memory is not a perfect recording, but a reconstruction, a story constantly rewritten, often with convincing emotional realism. And yet, even knowing this, some memories feel too vivid to dismiss as fabrication, as if they belong to an alternate version of events, a quiet parallel narrative that exists alongside the official one. Perhaps the most relatable glitch stories involve coincidences so precise they feel scripted. Thinking about a song moments before it plays. Imagining a person seconds before they call. Recalling a forgotten memory only to encounter a reminder almost immediately. These experiences are statistically explainable, yet emotionally impactful. Because coincidence, when experienced personally, feels less like randomness and more like choreography, as if reality occasionally winks without explanation. But as you lie here tonight, listening to these stories, it is worth remembering something grounding. Even if reality occasionally feels strange, your experience in this moment is simple. You are here, breathing, safe, aware. Because sleep does not require understanding. It requires surrender. So allow your thoughts to soften. Allow the mysteries of reality to remain unresolved. And allow yourself the quiet comfort of knowing not everything needs explanation tonight.